Petscop. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the early uploads from the YouTube channel, the Game Theorists. Actually, it's not that old though. This video came out in the YouTube 2018, so I think it's around 3 years ago. Yeah. Anyways, let's watch this video. I hope that you like this. Yeah.
So maybe you want to play a game.
Oh, Doki Doki Literature Club. Monica.
I have got a game for you, but beware, don't shadow monster man. Good luck solving this one, Mecca.
Wow. So yeah, just from the intro alone, I can clearly tell that this video is going to be. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you so much. Let's go.
Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory.
Ooh, wow. That was dark. Wow. Oh my gosh.
The show that's not afraid to turn to the right and become the Shadow Monster Man. Last year, I presented you with the single most emotional episode of Game Theory I'd ever done, Petscop, a fake Let's Play of a fake game that, at the time, I thought was retelling the events surrounding the tragic death of a young girl named Candace Newmaker. If you missed it, link is in the iCard in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, but be warned, it is an intense episode.
Yes, please be warned. It is an intense episode. Yeah.
However, since doing that theory, 2 more installments of Petscop have been released. The first on Christmas Day of 2017, and the second on January 4th of this year. And where the first 10 episodes certainly offered a lot of clues and puzzling threads to explore, there wasn't quite enough there to see the clear goal of what this series was trying to accomplish. But now, with these latest 2 installments, the series has introduced a ton of new information. Information that blows the lid off the Petscop mystery, uncovering a deep, twisted tale of kidnappings and secret murders that span decades. So today, while we all wait for FNAF's new custom night to spoil my lore one final time, and while we all hold our breath for Doki Doki's bizarre new spin-off, I wanted to spend some time taking a second, updated look at unraveling Petscop.
Petscop.
One of the creepiest,
Petscop.
most mysterious, and definitely most unique YouTube Let's Plays out there. A game that, as you're about to see, was literally made to expose a
Yeah. It's dark. Sad.
murderer. At first glance, the basic premise of Petscop is simple. It's a creepypasta let's play of an unfinished Pokemon-esque PS1-era game. Like the beginning of most creepypastas, a young kid named Paul found a copy of this game with a disturbing note attached.
I walked downstairs and when I got to the bottom, instead of proceeding, I turned the right and became a Shadow Monster Man.
It's 1397 for you. Please go to my website on the sticker and also go to Ronet's room and press start and press down, 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 right, start.
After Paul does what the note says, basically performing the Petscop equivalent to the Konami code, things start to go haywire.
The Konami code. It's yeah, even though this episode is quite dark and depressing, I'm just glad that Mappa is able to bring some joy into it, like the Konami code.
Locations appearing and disappearing, disturbing glitched sprites, characters talking, and recurring theme of dead or abandoned children. It's like the game is haunted. Paul even comments on it himself.
This game is trying very hard to make it seem like there's an entity in it, like a
Ghost.
Ooh, spooky. So creepy. I'm so scared. It's a haunted game. Hopefully Slender Man doesn't come out and get me. Except Slender Man is legitimately a scary character model. The guy in Petscop literally looks like he has a nauseous butt for a face. But what first appears to be a simple case of a make-believe haunted game made to get popular on the internet quickly becomes the most intricately plotted piece of game-based storytelling you've ever seen, even beyond that of Doki Doki Literature Club.
Whoa, you're comparing it to Doki Doki Literature Club. That's a lot. Huh.
And that's saying a lot. Throughout the 12 videos uploaded onto the Petscop channel, we see demo sequences pop up, like you would have with any game that's left idle for too long. One such sequence happens in Petscop 9, where we see the on-screen avatar running on a treadmill while a counter ticks down beside him. And then suddenly, the character stops. Just stops dead in his tracks and stands there, waiting until he finally starts running again. And throughout the whole thing, the video doesn't cut away. While it is just supposedly a demo, watching it, something just feels off. It feels intentional. It feels like there's a reason for this awkwardly long pause. And even more importantly, that there's a reason it was left in the final video uploaded onto the channel. It was a reason that would remain hidden until CTriggers24 on Reddit noticed that the demo of the treadmill sequence synced up perfectly with something that we had seen 7 uploads earlier. Each time the treadmill counts down in Petscop 9, a petal is picked off a flower in Petscop 2. She loves me, she loves me not. Running on the treadmill, and stop. These two moments, completely disconnected in sequence and upload date, share a commonality. The treadmill counting down.
Oh my god, they really do seems like they share a commonality.
The petals of a flower that, when picked completely clean, gets you access to this deformed girl trapped in the basement of a nearby shack. But clearly this just had to be a coincidence, right? 2 unrelated events in the game that just so happen to share a random pattern of timing. Not at all. But we wouldn't know it for sure until the most recent uploads of the series. In Petscop 10, we watched the on-screen avatar wander around a section of the game map labeled the Quitter's Room, a room separated into 2 mirrored halves. After about 30 seconds of exploring, we teleport away. It's nothing too exciting, right? Just a typical mirrored puzzle room like you see in most any other game. And that's the way most people perceived it until the most recent upload in the series, video 12, when suddenly we're on the other side of the mirror, reenacting those exact same 30 seconds of movement. It's yet another instance of perfect synchronization. Except this time, when we look to the other side of the mirror where we used to be, it's no longer our avatar, but instead, Pyramid Head? What is this, a Silent Hill game?
Pyramid Head?
Yo! And the synchronizations don't stop there. They even exist within the same video. Petscop 11 has a perfect sync down to the waveform of Paul's voice speaking. First at 11 minutes into the video, and then again at 16 minutes. Overlay the two and you can see that even the tiniest movements of the on-screen avatar match up perfectly. But what does all of it mean? Synchronizations and haunted games and demo sequences are all well and good, but it has to amount to something. So what is the story that this game is trying to tell us? Well, as you might be sensing already, a full exploration into Petscop can get very deep, very complicated, very quickly. In all seriousness, if I were to cover every detail in this game's story, I would be sitting here discussing with you who does and doesn't have eyebrows. That, no exaggeration, of all things, is the crucial detail in this whole story.
What? What? Like, eyebrow is the crucial key? Huh. Let's see. Yay! That's weird.
Silly. in the same way dissecting the difference between withered foxy and phantom foxy is. Technically, they're both the same thing. But when you strip away all of these excess details, at its core, Petscop boils down to the tale of two men, a murderer and the man who's out to punish him for his crimes. Marvin versus Rainer. One, a killer and child abuser, the shadow monster man that was warned about in the note attached to this game, and the other, the creator of Petscop, the good guy trying to use this game as a means of avenging his brother's death. Now, that's a lot to unpack, so let's start working our way through this. First, we know that this is a battle between these two characters in particular based on a few crucial letters that are hidden throughout the series. The first appears in Petscop 9. Quote, "You must have guessed, but I was looking through your things. I found that picture of you from 1977, standing in front of an old windmill with your friend. You went there, and it was a bad idea. Your friend and the windmill both disappeared into thin air. Her sister was holding the camera. She took another picture minutes later. Just you, no windmill, and no friend. You married her sister, and years later, your friend was reborn as your daughter. Your wife won't admit this is true, but I know it because I found the evidence. Your friend never returned with you, and the windmill was gone. I went to see it myself. Where is it? What did you do?" And the letter is signed, Rainer, Newmaker. Based on this letter, we know a few things. First, that the character Rainer has a bad case of the pronoun game. She, you, her, your friend. Use a freaking proper noun once in a while. Like 3/4 of the mystery of this game is just figuring out who's talking to who at any given point in time. Anyway, more importantly, we see that Rainer's already discovering some secret, a crime that the recipient of the letter wants to keep hidden. We learn that the story of Petscop truly begins back in 1977, when Marvin, that's the you being addressed here, takes the two ladies to a windmill, but only one comes back alive, the sister who he ends up marrying. And if there was any confusion about any of the events described in that letter, later in Petscop 9, we actually flash back to 1977 to see what exactly happens in that windmill. We first see the player avatar descend the stairs, and instead of continuing forward to load the new screen, turn to the right. This glitches out the game, and he becomes the Shadow Monster Man, just like the note we mentioned earlier that was attached to the game said would happen. And as the monster, we're able to access the windmill. It is the only time that the windmill is physically accessible in the game. Inside of it, we see a girl spinning atop the gears, and Marvin, as the Shadow Monster Man, plunging this white tool towards her. It seems like the game's implying that he killed her, because after the screen cuts away in that moment and then fades back up, the girl is gone, and you've gotten points for your monstrous actions. But to further confirm what we just saw, read deeper into Rainer's notes. He accuses your friend was reborn as your daughter. And indeed she was, as those same facial features that we see on the girl in the windmill reappear on the character Care, the she loves me not flower girl that we rescue from the basement of the shack that I mentioned earlier. The girl with no eyebrows. I told you the eyebrows were important in all this. That establishes that Care
Oh, so eyebrows is
Marvin's daughter. But why would Rainer be digging around in Marvin's past? Well, the answer is actually kind of tragic. Because 17 years after the windmill incident in 1995, Marvin would kidnap and abuse Rainer's brother, Michael Hammond, pushing him to the point of suicide. We know this based on another letter found from Rainer in the game. Quote, "When the emergency began, you were all looking for Care A. I told you all we would never find Care A. When Care A goes missing, she goes missing forever. My brother didn't want us to find him because he knew we were all looking for Michael A. I'm back. This is my present for you. I started it in 1996 for Marvin. If you think they're worth any effort, see if you can save Care B or Care NLM. Care B is in the school. Of course. Merry Christmas. Check your bathroom now. Rainer." Notice that Rainer specifically says, "my brother, Michael A." Now, the only other Michael that we see in the game is the grave of Michael Hammond, a gift. The
dead kid,
as Paul so delicately describes it. But I hear you asking, Michael Hammond, wouldn't that be Michael H? He just said his brother would be Michael A. And yeah, I totally see how that's confusing, but let me explain. In the world of Petscop, kids have 3 forms. A form, when they're loved and happy. B form, when they're sad, scared, or something bad has happened to them. And NLM,
nobody loves me form.
short for nobody loves me, when they've been completely wrecked on an emotional level. When Rainer says, "My brother didn't want us to find him because he knew we were all looking for Michael A," it means that Michael went missing and didn't want to be found because he was emotionally scarred. The family searching for him was still expecting the pre-emergency Michael, the happy one, the loving one. But because of whatever tragedy befell him during this emergency, he couldn't go back. He had become a new form, for lack of a better term. Michael B or Michael NLM. And that's not all. The fact that Rainer says that Michael didn't want to be found and that in the game we actually see his grave seems to imply that Mike took his own life. He was ruined and in his opinion worthless. So he ended his own life rather than disappointing those he cared about. And that's exactly how we find Marvin's daughter Care in the shack. She's Care NLM, abused to the point of being unrecognizable. But what happened to her? And more importantly, how do we know that Marvin is guilty of the crimes against both Care and Mike? Well, the windmill isn't Marvin's only atrocious act that we see.
Really? My gosh, that's just sad.
We see him break into his own house and kidnap Care in A form in episode 11. It's a bit hard to tell with these goofy sprites that this is an evil and scary act, but all you have to see is the words of his wife to know that she is clearly afraid of this man, from a note found on the wall of their house.
My husband may come here after 6 p.m. Please, stay here if you can. Thank you so much.
The desperation in this note is obvious. She's scared of Marvin and wants protection, but her cries for help aren't enough. We see it happen in the game. Just after 6 o'clock, Marvin breaks through the window in Care's room and captures her. But why would he kidnap his own daughter? One word.
Rebirth.
But what exactly that means, we'll have to wait until next week since, whoo boy, when you think about it, we've covered a lot of territory. That is a lot of information to unpack in this very obscure series. So I encourage you, now that you're done with this video, go back and watch the Petscop series again with this information in mind. And make sure you watch this theory one more time so everything's crystal clear. That way next week you'll be fully prepared as we wrap up the Petscop mystery. Now that we know who the main players are of Rainer, Marvin, Mike, and Care, what is Marvin doing to these kids? Why did Rainer make the game of Petscop for him? What's with all this creepy real-life imagery that's hidden in the game's loading screens? And most importantly of all, when can we expect the next installment of the series? Spoiler alert, it might be a while. But you know what won't take a while? Unraveling the mystery of it all next week. So make sure you capture that subscribe button you see on screen to ensure that you're here to help us decode YouTube's biggest Let's Play mystery. And by doing that, you'll be seriously helping us hit that all-important 10 million subscriber mark. It'll be...
Wow, you have not reached 10 million subscriber mark? Okay, in comparison, right now in 2021, last time I checked you are like 13.8 million subscribers, I think. So, yay, I guess. Something that is positive in this quite dark video.
Be a huge milestone for the channel and this community. It would be incredible. And in the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. That was weird. I could have sworn I put an end card there. Thanks for...
Oh my god, that is super creepy. That's weird. What was that? What was that? That's super creepy. Wow. Thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah. If you do like this video, please consider to watch some of the other videos. The video that I just reacted to came from the YouTube channel The Game Theorists. So yeah. If you do like my videos, please consider to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Right? And also follow my channel. Sorry. So it's like, share, subscribe, comment, follow, and thank you so much. I will see you next time. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.